Alrighty. Oh, that's gonna annoy me. It's the tiniest little bit, like, I don't care enough to do anything about it. Well, howdy, how's it going? My name's Winona and welcome to another episode of Utter Chaos. Let me address the elephant in the room. Other than the fact that I skipped a week, sorry. This bit right here is gonna occasionally grace your screens. I'm sorry for that. I am sunburnt, but like, not a lot, just here and there, but you can't say that. Why am I sunburnt? Why did I skip a week? Over a weekend away at Coonabarabran, and it got rather hot, actually. 37 degrees, I do believe, was the hottest, so quite toasty. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I am pale, so I don't take lightly to the sun. I have a joke with my mother that I could be buried under the ground in a lead box and the sun would still find a way to burn me. So actually, I'm really surprised that I didn't really get burnt anywhere else. And for me anyway, this is a tan. It's a big thing for me, okay? I did do some sketching out there, but not enough to make a whole video about it. But, you know, if you're interested, here it is. Just, you know, the landscape, some pooches, a cow. So, let's get into it. I need something to drink, but I want a cuppa. Do you want a cuppa? Go make a cuppa. I'll be back. I'm back. I have my tea. I am a happy chappy. Oh boy, that's hot. And you know what? That brings my tea total up to 28 cups of tea this year so far. I'm sure everyone is so riveted by that. You know what is an interesting point though? Hogwarts Legacy. Anyone else addicted to that? Cool. If I'm completely honest, I just want to be playing it now, but I have to entertain you guys. So, with that being said, it's the big box of ideas. And I'm gonna shake it and all. I'm back on it. I know what I'm doing. Oh my god, I thought it was gonna be so salty because, like, I haven't used it for a few weeks. Anyway, let's just dive right in, shall we? What am I doing today? Okay, this is not gonna make sense to a lot of you, but I'm in, I'm doing it. Sure, why not? Let me give you a bit of context first, okay, before we dive into this whole thing. So, me and my best friend Emma, little gamer girls we are, we got super into RDR, like, during the pandemic, because I was living in Victoria, she was still living in Newcastle, and, you know, best friends need to talk to each other. It was a fun way to keep in touch, and we can't cope if we don't talk to each other every day. She had this horse, right? A thoroughbred. Susan, she called her. And boy, was she a murderous beast. Anytime there was any murder spree happening, Susan was on it. You'd call her and she'd be like, where's the murder at? She'd join in, like, genuinely. Me and Emma were up the top of this building once, and I think we shot one of the sheriffs. I shot the sheriff. And then next thing you know, like, top building in this factory, I'm pretty sure it was in Saint Denis. In waltzes Susan, like, you mentioned murder. It was glorious. And ever since then, Susan has been our idol. We worship this horse made of pixels. And so this is where this comes in. I am going to draw her, Susan, in a clawfoot bathtub. Specifically, a bathtub filled with the blood of her enemies, because obviously. I have drawn her once before. Me and Emma have this tradition of every Christmas we have this Bob Ross pop figure. And we've set him up in this little box and he's got like an easel. And every Christmas we draw something on that easel and then give it to the next person. So one year I drew Emma's character, which when she first started, she spent so long like trying to tweak everything, like, yeah, that kind of looks like me. But then when we were in the game, it looked like she had Steve Buscemi eyes. So obviously I drew her character as like Steve Buscemi. And then Susan was in the background like, did someone say murder? So I have drawn her before. However, she's going to be a little more elegant in this one. Please, come on a journey with me. So now it's time to draw her in a clawfoot tub, and I do believe that I will start with that. So I think that will be the easiest place, and then we can get our bearings and figure it out. So say the bath is, there's the bottom. They kind of go out and up on one side, don't they? They're like, ooh. Okay, so for the moment we'll just do this, and then we can make the legs all fancy. But that's just where it's gonna go. The legs go like here-ish. Alrighty, so this is like the basic shape. I'll have this run down and then back up. Okie dokie, so that's like a rough outline of the bath. Now we have to add the horse. So Susan is black from memory, or like a... Is she a blood bay or is she... No. No, she's black. Of course she is. She's like the Grim Reaper. She's gonna come and steal your soul. Maybe she's just like a really dark brown. I can't remember. It's been a little while since we've been on, and I dare say we're gonna have to go for a mosey soon. Okay, so her head's up this end. Feets we'll have dangling out there. She's just chillaxing, having a great time. You know what? She's gonna have a wine glass because she's fancy, okay? So her neck would go down like this. I've never thought of the anatomy of a horse if they were laying in a bath. But apparently, today's the day I find out. Okay, so the ears would say here. The neck would have to come out a little bit. Well, there's the mane too, isn't there? Alright, so if we go there, cheek. Hey!
Hey, it's for horses.
That's looking pretty good. Don't speak too soon though. So her nose just kind of goes there. God, I hope this turns out, because I will frame this. If this turns out well, no, see, look, now she's looking more like a Arab. She's a thoroughbred, so not as rounded, and they're longer. I mean, I think that looks a little Susan-like. I am so sorry for anyone whose name is Susan, but you should be blessed, because Susan is an icon, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Ears are forward, okay, she's happy, she's got murder on the brain. She's just destroyed a whole bunch of her enemies. She's up for anything, Susan. She's got a little forelock in there. Can be looking a little wet because, you know, she'll have blood dripping off it. Now, I think I wrote this idea down. Don't quote me until I check. Did we have her wearing glasses? Hold on. It's in here somewhere. I make a lot of lists.
You notice this list, huh? I'm always making lists.
Like, this is... Yep. Okay, here it is. No, it was better than that. It was better than glasses. Cucumbers, because obviously she's living her best life. Susan in clawfoot bathtub filled with blood of her enemies. One foot resting outside, the other with a glass of red wine / blood. Cucumbers over the eyes with candles in the background. We came up with this while we were moseying, obviously. All right, cucumbers. Can do. Yep, we got you, Susan. We got you, honey. I don't remember what the inside of them looks like. There's little seeds. Oh, she's loving it. Look at that. Now, I don't know that you would be able to see the other... Maybe we can have it just poking out here. Now, you know what? I think the nose needs to go there a little bit. That's better. The shoulder comes up like that to be resting. See, a horse's anatomy is very different than a human's. Neck comes down into like the chest, shoulder region. Shoulders down. Where would you be? It's gonna look really awkward. I'm gonna keep that in the bath, and I'll have her feet dangling out, and then this can have a glass of wine. Should we try and give her like a little bit of a smirk?
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
How is she supposed to hold a glass of wine? Horses don't have thumbs. They also don't have fingers. Anything can happen, okay? Anything can happen in a drawing. Horse holding a glass of wine? Sure. Look, horses can't bend their hands this way, but that's fine. Like so. I say this about a lot of my drawings, but I think this is one of the best things I've ever created. I've elongated that long bit on the wine glass. Okay, so now we just have to have her feet dangling over the tub. And then they... You know what? It's only now occurred to me that I could get a reference. Like that. I've made the bath a little bit bigger because obviously it has to accommodate an entire horse. That's about as even as that's gonna get. I love this. I do. We'll have like a little scene where there's like step or something up here. Over here we'll have some melted candles. They always come in like stacks of 3, don't they? What's up with that? Should we have like a skull? Should have like a skull over here. This can be the skull of someone who wronged her. Just whatever you do, don't get in Susan's way, because like she will end you. A couple of candles over here. And we'll just have some wax dripping. It's just pulling on the ground there. Cool. I'll make these straighter with my handy dandy ruler. Okie doke. Time to line this bad boy. This is gonna bleed. Why do you do that? It's alright, we can work with this. Right, that's it. That's all I can take of this pen. Drips are always so much fun to do. I would do a whole page of just drips. It's always peak concentration while I'm trying to line stuff. Get the cukes in, because that's important. Well, as it turns out, top camera decided, nah, I don't want to capture all the little teeny tiny details, but this is what you've missed. It's time for colour. I feel like we should leave the bath white so that like the red of the blood really stands out, but we'll do something fancy on the claw feet. It's a clawfoot bathtub and that's what fancy people have, or murderous horses. You choose. I'm going to grab my Ohuhus and I'm just going to cover like a whole space. And then I'll just do the floor in like a slightly different shade. I wanted these candles to be those ones, you know, when they melt and on the outside they're black, but on the inside they're red. That's what I'm going for, the blood candles. And then the actual blood, obviously, which I went for a bit of a lighter colour. Alright, here we go. These are the candles. I actually love these candles. They are so cool. In real life, I mean. I used to work in a candle store. Around Halloween they had them and they were so cool. Let's get the claw tub. Just zhuzh it up a bit, you know? Gel pens, hey? I mean, what a throwback. I was gonna use my gold Posca, but like, I've got to get into the little cracks and I'm like, do I have anything else? As it turns out, yeah, I do, because as I have stated before, I am an art supply hoarder. So this is probably from my collection from when I was in like primary school. Give these candles a bit of light. Is this a decent green for the cucumber? Yeah, I think so. Nice. From my reference picture of good old Susan, she's like a really dark, like brown, kind of red undertones, I would say. So if I give her some red underneath, just bear with me here. What is the darkest brown I have? We have found our winner. And then we simply, see that? That is Susan. She's coming together. Here we go. Blending it out. Ooh, those red undertones are popping out and I love it. And her mane is also black. Just gonna add a tinge of blue to this glass. Alrighty, so let's just add some finishing touches. I'm gonna make these seeds white again. Give a bit of highlight to these blood spatters. So yeah, there she is in all her glory. Susan in a clawfoot tub filled with the blood of her enemies, sipping away, cucumbers on her face, her own little spa day. I'm actually quite proud of that. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Susan. Of all of the things that have come out of our Red Dead adventures, Susan is by far one of my favourites. Honestly, I don't know what else to say about it, because like, it's just glorious, you know? I'm so proud of it, I really am. I want to go for a mosey now. You know what? No, I'm lying to myself. Okay, I'm gonna play Hogwarts Legacy. I just know I am. I do want a mosey though. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Let me know what you thought. Bit of an odd one, I know, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. If not, you can't please everyone, am I right? If you'd like to subscribe, do so. There's my socials. Don't feel pressured at all, especially after what you've just seen. I get it. Thank you so much for joining me on another chaotic adventure, and I hope to see you next week. And with that, I'll see you later, Tater.